I loved being president, but I love being president because there has never been an economy like the economy that we created. And
it's better now by all merits. More people are working. Wages are higher. The stock market is up. One of the reasons why the cost of living, like for housing, is so far up is because people bought houses during the fucking pandemic. After, like, they were buying houses. Like, people, like, we upgraded in our house because what the fuck else are you going to do? Where are you going to go? We have to work from home.
China was paying us a fortune. You know, no, China never paid 10 cents to any other.
Again, this is because he doesn't understand there's a company called Tencent.
President. Any other president, go all the way back. And
oh, God, I can't, like, again, that's why I'm glad he brought on Vance, because these lies are so fucking tired. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's this. Yeah. Go into here. China material. In July 2016, USTR initiated a dispute at the WTO against China's export duties and quotas on various forms of different raw materials. These raw materials are key inputs into the variety of made in America products from a range of sectors, including aerospace, automotive, electronics, chemical, and more. China demonstration bases agreement in April 2016. Following a challenge by the United States at the WTO, China agreed to dismantle its prohibited export subsidies under the demonstration bases common service platform program. The agreement represented a win for American workers employed in seven diverse export sectors, including agriculture, textile, and medical products, who will benefit from a more level playing field in which to compete. China Poultry Compliance Challenge. In May 2016, the United States challenged China at the WTO following China's failure to bring its ADV-CVD orders against imports of U.S. chicken broiler products into compliance with WTO rules. The United States challenged the Chinese imposed duties on behalf of American poultry producers and the hundreds of thousands of people employed in the poultry industry. The United States remains firmly committed to ensuring that China lives up to its WTO obligations and that American farmers and workers can compete and win. China high-tech steel duties. In July 2015, the United States prevailed in a WTO challenge to China's compliance actions following WTO findings in 2012 that China's duties of high-tech steel were inconsistent with WTO rules. Those WTO inconsistent duties contributed to over $250 million in annual export losses for American steel exporters. The U.S. compliance challenge was the first time any WTO member had initiated a WTO proceeding to challenge a claim by China that it had complied with adverse WTO findings. China terminated the illegal duties following the USTR challenge. On and on and on and on and on and on and on. This is Obama. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about at all. He just thinks... And he knows that Mark Levin's never going to go, well, I mean, obviously, Obama won on the Chinese tariffs on their rulings in the WTO about steel, for example, and helped save the American steel industry because of that. He's not going to get a pushback on that. He's not going to. Nobody's even going to bring that shit up to him anywhere.
They were paying hundreds of billions of dollars to the U.S. in the form of taxes and tariffs. And I got along with China. You know, I got along. I had a lot of respect for President Xi. The press hates when you say that. I had a lot of respect. But I did. And
no, they just want to know what you respect about him. Because if you just say you have generalized respect for him, then I have huge respect for the way he rounded up Uyghurs and sterilized and murdered them. I have a huge respect for the way that he solves their organ donation program using Falun Gong members and Chinese dissidents. I have a huge respect for the kidney market that is out there. Oh, dear God. Not again.
the kidney has a very special place in the heart.
I've heard that. Yeah. So, like, Trump did nothing new with China. Nothing. Except he got into this pissing contest, this trade tariff thing, and he had to basically buy off farmers who was going to ruin all of them.
There's no reason we won't get along with China, but they were taking advantage of it.
There's a lot of reasons why we wouldn't get along with China. And they increased over time. the relationship and conversations the American people and the American government and the American industry was having with China in the first half of the 2000s, in the 2010s, and all the way up to about 2015 was wholly different from when Xi Jinping took over and really started guiding the country. It's a different country now. It just is. They practically have an emperor again, and he's a lunatic, and he's surrounded by idiot sycophants, and they're afraid of him. That it's not the same fucking country. So even like things that our leaders, Bush, Obama, Clinton, anybody, were saying to China during that period of time, they were talking to a wholly different country.
But Europe is taking advantage of us almost as badly. The European
No, they're not. Europe is not taking advantage of us.
Union.
No, they aren't.
What they're doing to us is incredible.
What are they doing to us?
$250 billion in, I call it losses. They don't take.
Right, because you're an idiot. Because American companies, the biggest in the world, buy goods from Europe and Asia, and then they repackage them and sell them as their very own at a premium. And the profits benefit everyone, except, of course, I guess America to some degree, because you won't tax those companies because they're too big.
Take our cars, we take their cars. They don't take our farm product, we take their product.
Also, they're so much smaller than us. Again, just Wisconsin alone could wipe out the dairy industry in most of Europe.
They don't take practically anything from us.
They take a lot of stuff from us.
And I straighten a lot of these things out.
No, he didn't.
But we have tremendous potential, this country, but you need the right leader. Look, I defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years.
No, he didn't. The suicide bomber that killed our soldiers in Afghanistan was an ISIS fighter. The guy who blew up outside of Soleimani's funeral in Iran, also a ISIS fighter.
Our military is great, but they need the right.
And the woke and wokey woke, whatever. Yeah, same shit.
Are woke. But look at the job we did in defeating 100% of the ISIS caliphate. And other than that, I got you into no wars. You didn't have any wars. But we're going to have the big war, the war of all time, if something doesn't happen. Because I don't.
Also, Biden hasn't gotten us into any other wars. What war has he gotten us into? I mean, we've given military aid to Israel as long as I've been fucking alive. If anybody got us into the Ukraine-Russia exchange, besides the fact that they deserve our help, it would be Clinton, because he made an agreement with them that if they give up their nukes, we will protect them in case they are attacked. And we did not live up to that. Right? So we're doing it now.
I don't think we have a president right now. Biden's on vacation all the time.
And yet he's holding World War III at bay, like from the beach, from the bay.
He's depressed from being overthrown. He was overthrown. This was a coup.
Right. He's saying the exact same shit he said in the last segment. And we know it's not a rerun of the first segment because Mark Levin has the book open on his lap, which is super fucking weird.
I think you agree with that.
100%.
This was a coup. And the person running got no votes.
He literally said all this already.
And they wanted to be politically correct because 6 weeks ago they thought she was a joke. And
no, they didn't.
Immediately the press, the press is really the biggest problem of all. The fake news, I call it, is the biggest problem of all.
He's on Fox News with one of its hosts.
Because they immediately went from her being a joke, not qualified, she'll be terrible, and she's the worst vice president in history, too.
Nobody said that. Again, this is what he's saying now. Like, he didn't. Okay, the opposite happened. He was ignoring her, never even talked about her. He was so busy attacking Biden, he ignored Harris entirely. And so, I don't believe he actually thinks that MSNBC was taking any time out. CNN, any of these were saying, oh my God, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president we've ever had. Like, there was literally no noise of that prior to her going to the top of the ticket. And since then, it's all been from him.
All of a sudden, she's wonderful. But she's not wonderful. So we have a debate coming up, and I look forward to that. And she'll be exposed.
Mr. President.
Yes, it'll be amazing. I'm sure. I'm sure she's quaking in her boots.
President, the press. It's very, very interesting. Before you got into the politics, the press liked you.
They love me. I got the greatest press. I don't know what I did. I got the best press.
I'll tell you what you did.
I know what you did. You called the press and pretended to be your own press agent and made shit up. And none of it mattered. All the press you got was just fucking New York socialite bullshit. Honest to God, like, the reason he got as much positive press is because his entire life up till him running for president was fluff, useless. If he went away, ultimately, it'd be another story. And you had to kiss his ass to get him on your program, and he'd say awful shit, which would, on either The View or on Stern or something like that, he would just say the grossest stuff. So it was incendiary and it would make some news, right? Yeah, it was just tabloid nonsense.
You decided to be a Republican, strike number one. You took on Obama, strike number two.
He didn't take on Obama. He made racist attacks on the man saying he wasn't born here. He didn't take him on. What was the policy? How did he take him on? Was it on taxes?
Defeated Hillary Clinton. Oh, that was a big strike. Strike number three.
And then he oversaw the greatest bioweapon attack on the United States. It sat on his hands the entire time, and then kissed the leader of the country that attacked his ass for months.
You became president of the United States. You stopped.
And then, also, by the way, since then, Mark, he's also lost the presidency. He was a one-termer. Don't forget that.
The Obama, Hillary, that sort of dynasty from doing exactly what Kamala Harris wants to do now. Push the country over the cliff. You're a capitalist. You say you use common sense, which is
hilarious. He's a debt whore who doesn't care where the money comes from. That's just being a mobster. That's not capitalism. Also, what constitutes common sense? I'm dead serious. By his standard, what's his standard for common sense? Common understanding, which is often mistaken. Because again, common sense told you the earth was flat for a very long time.
is true. America first, national security.
Also, America first is only true when if he was playing poker, it'd be the first chip he threw in.
Those are the views of most Americans. Kamala Harris is hiding because she doesn't agree with most Americans.
She's also campaigning everywhere. She's not hiding at all.
You call her a Marxist. She wants to nationalize health care. She wants to set wage and price controls. She wants to determine the price of food.
Also, by the way, I didn't get to see the entirety of her statement on price controls on certain things, but a lot of it is not. It seems not about like how high the price can be, not setting a price that's managed by the state, but a percentage on how quickly you can raise it in a situation that covers that makes gouging illegal. That would be the standard, right? That would be that's where a lot of people that talk around that area are. Same thing is true of rent. Like they want to make sure that you can only raise rent at a measurable amount, not just jack it up because the market gets all cattywampus and you just decide to kick people out and bilk them, just automatically raise it, right? And that you can do it by percentages that balances to what inflation is instead of just gouging people in an emergency. That said, anybody who wants UBI or has been thinking about UBI or any of that, you do not ever have UBI without price controls and rent control on everything. Because if you don't have rent control nationwide and you create UBI, basically any place that isn't rent controlled, the price of that property just goes up whatever the amount you're getting from the government in a day. $1,000, I don't know, whatever it is. But if there's no marker on the top of it, then you can charge whatever you can get for it. And unless you limit the rise, UVI, right. Universal, UBI is universal basic income. That's what Andrew Yang was running on. And that's where a bunch of the Kennedy types and the Jill Stein folks are going for. But you cannot have UBI without some level of price controls, period. And if you're staring down the barrel of automation taking away a lot of jobs, and not just blue collar jobs, but white collar jobs as well, and you're setting up this situation where, oh my God, in the next 5 years, because of the advances in robotics and the advances in AI, there's going to be a situation where we might have an emergency where we need some form of UBI, or we'll have a collapse, okay, in certain areas. If you want that, you've got to have price controls set in place before that happens. Is that going to happen? Is that what they're looking at? I don't know. Just for the record, I don't know. I don't know that anybody can say for sure how that's going to work. But what I am saying is that if you are going to create a solution for automation taking away physical jobs and AI taking away middle class and white collar jobs, if your solution for that is any kind of UBI or welfare, you are going to have to set up price controls on those things, or it will just automatically jack up the cost of everything. Just saying. Just letting you know. Hit that like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. We're going through this ridiculous Mark Levin interview.
Food. She doesn't know anything about food.
Yeah, she's never eaten. She doesn't cook. She's never put ketchup on a well-done steak.
Respect. Her reaction is government, centralized decision-making.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But if you have a country, an actual functioning country, you need standards that are ubiquitous across the country in terms of safety and rights for the people. Otherwise, you don't have a United States. You don't have a country. You can't just let the states do whatever the fuck they want, or you don't have a country. The Constitution is meaningless if any state can override any aspect of it. I don't know why this is hard for these assholes to grasp.
Do you think you're going to be able to get that point across to the American people?
No. Because he wants control of the media. He wants to use the DOJ to enact revenge on people.
Given the nature of the media and the
He doesn't understand what you're saying, Mark.
fact that she plays rope-a-dope and hide and seek?
Well, I have to go in shows like yours. This is a great show, a very highly rated show. A lot of people are watching.
No. No, it isn't. Not at all. It's a midday Saturday and Sunday show on Fox, like when no one watches news.
And you have to go on shows like this, and Sean Hannity and Laura and Jesse and a lot of
Fox and go on Fox, and you got to say on Fox. And how are you going to convince voters who aren't going to vote for you already that she's going to be terrible and do all these awful things and she's a Marxist if you only go on stations where people already believe that, like this one?
A lot of other shows. There are a lot of other shows.
There are a lot of shows. There are a lot of shows, Mark. It's just like if you squint, it all just blurs into one big mushy face.
If you get good ratings, they always take you. That's the one good thing. But some are nasty. They don't want you, but they got to have the ratings, right? But I get the word out. Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? Maria?
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to. Truth has been a very great thing for me. Truth Social. It's my form of getting the word out.
So that's why the stock is doing so well.
And I also use X. Elon's a friend of mine. He endorsed me very strongly. He really endorsed me incredibly. He endorses me a lot. He tells people because he understands. He's very smart.
Citation needed.
And he understands that this country is not going to make it if she's put in there.
Yeah, he also wore a demon armor to a fuck pit at a sex club. And I think his mom was his guest.
It's going to be a disaster for the world. It's going to be a disaster. The whole world's going to explode, not just us.
So economic policy is probably going to take a backseat in that situation.
And
I mean, you don't have to argue economics. I don't need a lot of argument about who killed who, because ultimately we're all going to die. Like this is it's us versus the big asteroid.
have tremendous endorsements, and those guys are going out, those people are going out, and they're talking about it. We brought RFK Jr., and he's a terrific guy. And he's a
It didn't help the numbers at all.
little different, but he's got some great ideas and some great things that he's been working on, having to do with health, having to do with women and women's health, and just a lot of great things.
What? Women and women's health? What do you mean? Because his running mate is against IVF?
We brought in Tulsi, as you know, who is terrific. She's great, very respected.
Very respected. To do what?
I've watched her for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen her say anything that I disagree with. And she was a Democrat, and she left the party. She was a congresswoman.
I notice they're under attack now.
Oh, they're probably under attack.
They've been this way for a while. Dude, Tulsi, after she clearly, had a mission when it came to the 2019-2020 campaign. But once it was abundantly clear she was a spoiler candidate and meant to be there as kind of an undermining voice. She's been persona non grata amongst Democrats for a long time and has been showing up all over. I mean, she fucking guest hosted Tucker. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, you get under attack. This is a tough business if you're a Republican. It's a lot easier to be a Democrat.
Really? When you got some second generation rich kid from New York who got 5 deferments from Vietnam and says that AIDS was his avoiding STDs, not even AIDS, avoiding STDs was his Vietnam. That guy questions your citizenship the entire time you're president, and it's easier.
And yet, yeah, you're right. We won against Hillary and Obama because it was all one thing. And
no, it wasn't.
Bush, we won against Bush. I get no support from Bush.
That's the cut point. Whew. All right. Next chunk. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show.